Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Fools
Seldom
Differ
podcast.
I just realised I need to back up from this bloody mic because I am so loud. People listening to this in their ears right now going, "Oh!" I apologise for that. I can use my
use your inside voice, not your farm voice,
or my ASMR voice. Hello, everyone. You know those videos I do with the carbs? Hello and welcome to the world. I can speak like that the entire time. But I get a bit passionate, so I apologise for that. Of course, my name is Andy.
And I'm Lily.
And together we are Massive Fools.
And that's why we're called the Fools Seldom Differ podcast.
That too is, great minds think alike. And
Fools Seldom Differ.
Also, it's a very unique podcast name. Do you know how difficult it is to find a podcast name?
There is lots and lots out there, so it's very, very difficult.
And there are a lot of podcasts too who share the same name. And I just think that if you want to stand out, be seen,
you've got to be unique.
You have to be a bit different. And that we certainly are. Welcome. So, look, this particular episode, we're going to be speaking a lot about ourselves, which is a bit self-indulgent, but I think going forward, it's best you understand who we are, our story a bit before we keep going on about all kinds of things we're going to be speaking about. So far, we've got episodes designed around social media,
correct,
agriculture in Australia,
nursing, which is what I do.
What else have we got so far listed now? There's a few things.
Some people want to know about how the political system works.
Oh,
so
that could be
it's going to be a bit of a touchy but interesting subject. So we're going to see if we can get a special guest on for that. So,
and we've also got segments that we want to introduce and people we want to interview. So it's going to be pretty good.
It is.
But anyway, enough about that. Let's dive into it. So firstly, Lily, I'm going to ask you about you. Lily, I want to know how old you are. I want to know your credit card details, your height. I want to know how much tax you paid. Go for it.
Ooh, that's a bit personal, don't you think? Anyways, I am 24. I grew up in a city, so very different to the life I'm living now. I am a registered nurse working in an emergency department as well, so that's pretty exciting. But I've done quite a lot in my 24 years, actually, quite a few different careers and everything, so we'll dive right into that in a little bit. How about you, Andy? Tell the world about yourself. I don't know.
I know, it's like, what don't you know by this point? Well, look, I am a very big personality, very big person kind of person. And that was really poorly worded. But basically, I don't know, I'm a third generation dairy farmer who has had a lot of fun on social media over the past few years. I like doing things that are charitable and I love my family. And that's me in a nutshell, I think. And if you didn't already know that, well, welcome. But yeah. But what I wanted to speak about chiefly, importantly, firstly, is Lily, like you when you were a kid. What things did you do for fun? What did you dream of when you were a child? What did you think life would become? What was your family life like? Did you have a good time?
Yeah, all right. I grew up, as I said, sort of in a more city kind of town. So definitely lived a different lifestyle than what I'm living now. My parents, they actually split up when I was about 7, but I still, both of them love me very much and still do. So I'm very fortunate for that. I pretty much had anything that I needed and lived a really good life, had a good education, all of that kind of stuff. When I graduated, I moved into a proper city and went and started a business degree, did half of that, decided I didn't really love it, and then became a real estate agent for a little while, in one of the top real estate agents in that city. So it was pretty cool. I was a property manager, and then, yeah.
Have you travelled?
I have. I've travelled a fair bit.
I ask this, no, I full well know. It's not like I don't know, nearly 4 years in. Oh, have you ever travelled anywhere? I know it's a bit late to be asking this. This is for your sake, people. Okay, so have you travelled anywhere?
I have. I have travelled to quite a few places. Very, very fortunate to have. I've been to Indonesia, I've been to Japan, New Zealand, America, Thailand, Singapore. Where else?
Where haven't you been?
I know, where haven't I been at this point?
Bloody hell.
Yeah, very, very lucky. So I've been traveling quite a bit. We go a lot to New Zealand to go to the snow because me and my dad and brother, we snowboard and ski. So yeah, it's pretty nice over there. I would definitely recommend anyone should visit if they can.
Do you think a lot of your life experiences have shaped you in a way which made you have to mature sooner maybe than other people did?
I think a little bit, definitely. Like with my parents splitting, that was kind of, a bit challenging because I had 2 different homes and had to move around a fair bit, moved schools quite a lot too. I think I've been to about 7 different schools in my life. So I definitely feel like I have matured a fair bit, and especially moving not out of home, but to live with my dad rather than my mum, and being away from all my friends and family, moving into this like proper city to go to uni and, get my life together with all of that. That was a lot to sort of deal with when you're freshly out of school. So
when I say this, I want you to tell me the first thing that comes to mind. And I know that this isn't planned, but I want to know what your favourite child... It doesn't have to be your absolute favourite. It's just the first thing that comes to mind. Your favourite childhood memory.
My favourite childhood memory is going down to my grandparents' house down in New South Wales. And they live on a bay. Lived on a bay. It was very beautiful. My granddad would take me out to get crabs and go fishing all the time, and crabs are my absolute favourite. Like, you get me a blue swimmer crab, I will finish it and devour every piece of meat in it in like 5 minutes. It's great.
Her family are big seafood people.
Yeah.
I'm a seafood person too, where I like seafood and I eat it, whereas they're big seafood people. And I watch them just absolutely bring apart all these bugs and prawns and crabs, and they're just getting in there, getting their hands all dirty. And me being a simple farm boy, I'm like, oh, whoa, like, it's next level stuff, but it's fascinating.
Andy can't really peel a prawn very well either. So
I learned a month ago or so. I gave it a red hot go.
He did. He's all right. I still will, at Christmas time, I'll peel a couple and put them on his plate for him so that...
She's basically saying generous. Andy's a big baby. And
no, not at
all. I guess one more question I want to ask you about you before we start talking about me, because I can go on and it's dangerous. But I guess you are a nurse.
Yeah.
What made you want to become a nurse? Because you were doing the real estate.
I was.
So what made you go, you know what? Nursing's for me. Bugger this real estate.
Mm-hmm. Well, so basically what happened was when COVID came around, so I am an asthmatic, like not super severe, but still can be quite severe when I get very sick. So when COVID came around, I sort of started worrying a little bit, especially being a property manager, having to go out to people's houses all the time, see lots of different people, take them through houses and everything. I became a little bit concerned because I didn't really know anything about it, and I was not a nurse at this point, obviously, knew nothing about healthcare. And my boss actually decided to make me the only person that was going out on inspections, even though I was, like, I told them, I'm sick, I can get sick really easily and I'm a bit worried. I then decided, you know what, if they don't want to at least, get other people to do it and not just me, I don't think I can be in this place anymore. The culture was amazing. I loved everyone there, but it just didn't seem like the right fit for me with, not knowing the uncertainty of COVID and everything. So I left that. And then I didn't have a job for a little while. I was just sort of, hanging out. I was still only, 18, 19, then 20 maybe. And then we met, and my mum started doing her nursing degree, and my nana was a nurse. And looking at mum's stuff, I was like, oh, I could do this. And she was doing the enrolled nursing, which I had started. Did 6 months of that and then moved to live on the farm, and it does not, it's not done up here. So
We're new to this podcasting thing. The screen has been black. We're like, oh God, is it recording? Oh God, it's recording.
it is.
See, I don't understand all of this stuff, people. I am not a tech-savvy human being, despite the social media presence. I can barely use my phone. It's remarkable that I have done so well. So I guess we'll start talking about me now, finally. It's about time.
Yeah. Well, tell me about yourself then. Tell me about how it is being a dairy farmer, a third-generation dairy farmer.
Yeah, so third-generation dairy farmer. The story is my grandfather came over from Holland in 1936 during the Great Depression, sent by his family to Australia. His uncle was already in Australia, and so he came to the same region his uncle was in, rather. And he leased some land for the best part of 10 years where he dairy farmed, day in, day out, rain, hail or shine, just him. And there'd even be nights there he'd be having steak for dinner. And to keep himself awake, he'd have his fork under here so that he didn't fall asleep because he was that tired. He came over here when he was 17 years old, by the way. He was a kid. Anyway, he met my nana, who was growing up on a neighbouring farm. They married in 1946, and they bought this house we're in right now, in the original part of the farm, in 1949. And now my dad is the youngest of four. He was born in 1957, and then I came along in 1996, third generation dairy farmer. And that decision to stay here after school didn't come lightly. I did do things during school on the farm, but I didn't work it like I was a man, I was a boy. And so right after school, the first year out of school, I was on the farm 7 days a week, full time, like get red hot go, no school involved anymore. And then I did 1 year of university where I studied primary education, and I really enjoyed that. But I decided ultimately, the best in the best interests of myself and the family, it was best for me to come back and be on the farm. And it has been for the best for everybody, I think, that I made that decision. And studying something is something I can always do later on down the line. But I enjoyed the primary education. It was good. I like the idea of, and I've tried to do this with my TikTok, is, educating people. I love it. I love being, a bit fun, rather than just being the same old. I like being different. And I think if you want, this is a bit off topic, but teaching children, oh, ding.
Whoopsies.
If you want, we're getting there. Whoa. While she does that, hello. But I think if you want to teach children, it's really important to be a bit more, interesting. That's something I tried to do when I was studying it. A very defining part of my life, of course, was when my mum suffered a subarachnoid hemorrhage. So when she suffered that, she had a category 4 bleed, which is, think cyclones. Category 1 being the least severe cyclone, category 5 being the most severe cyclone. Mum had a category 4 bleed, massive bleed. People don't usually survive that. And she did. The amount of trauma Mum's brain went through with that bleed, but she also had what's called a vasospasm. So basically, because there was blood on her brain, the vessels were all shrinking up, going, don't get off of me, blood, kind of thing, and blood couldn't pass through anymore. And that caused Mum to have a couple of strokes as well. And there have been other complications along the way. This was back in 2017, so between then and now, there have been other complications. Mum is now home after a couple of years in a brain injury rehabilitation centre. She's been home for a little while now with NDIS carers. But all of that whole thing, I've made that sound so simple. It was the least simple part of my life. It was very difficult to lose what I had with Mum. It's what's called perpetual grief. Something which a lot of you will be dealing with as well in your life. I deal with perpetual grief through, the loss of what Mum used to be and should be, what she deserved to be right now, the life she deserved to have, taken away from her. That can happen through brain injury. That's a lot of people with brain injury, in the brain injury world, talk about perpetual grief. and how you really grieve what you were meant to have, you know. And that can happen not only through brain injury, that can happen through all kinds of things that we lose, whether it be things we love or people we love, but they're not actually dead. You know, they're still there, but something's changed. It's a topic which I'd like to actually talk about more deeply later on in another episode. But yeah, no, all of that has really helped me become who I am and have prioritized certain things and understand that I'm a very privileged young man as well. And I really understood that privilege when I swiped right on Lily. Do you want to tell that story, Lily?
Yeah, so we met on a dating app, which, I mean, it's kind of one of the, you know, the biggest way that people meet each other now, really. Obviously, like, a lot of people on there aren't necessarily on there just to date and find someone, but we both were on there for that reason, and we both swiped right. It was Bumble, so obviously I had to say hey first, which I did, clearly, otherwise we wouldn't be here today. And Andy's favourite story was that he replied, and I supposedly left him on red.
She says supposedly, and she always like, oh, I just didn't come back on the app for 5 whole days. I
had a life outside of Bumble, you know.
Clearly I didn't. but she definitely left me on red for 5 days. She was just playing treat him mean, keep him keen. That's what she was doing.
Exactly, and you were still keen, so, you know.
Of course I was, because you were treating me mean. You always want what you can't get. And I got it. And there's even a ring on it. Where's the camera? Show them that. Yeah.
Try and do it.
Oh, there it is. Hey, who wants to hear that story?
Well, should we tell them about our first date first?
Yeah, okay, let's go.
Quickly.
Let us travel back a few years. Let us travel back in time to 3.5 years ago. Was it 3.5 years ago? Something like that.
Yeah, just about.
Yeah, so actually it was over 3.5.
Yeah, we're almost at 4.
Yeah, so after she treated me mean and she kept me keen, I asked her if she would like to go on a date, and she actually said yes.
I did, and I decided that he came to me, which, you know, is a distance going from a city to a rural regional area where he lived. He came to me, which I was very grateful for, and I decided that I would like to go to a lovely bakery, which was about an hour and a half's drive away from back towards his place, kind of thing. So we went there and got some lovely donuts, sat in the park, and then came home and went to a party.
To her home, not mine.
Yeah,
so go all the way back to her place.
To my home, yes. And then we went to a party afterwards, actually. And
that was different because I'd done a lot of first dates by that point. I'm nearly 4 years older than Lily. And Lily is my long-term relationship I've ever had, whereas I'm not Lily's first, and that's okay. But anyway,
you're my longest now.
But yeah, of course I am. But you know, but the thing, I guess, it was different on a first date to go to a party that night with you as a +1. It was just like I thrive in environments with people, but it was different. It was a really different experience, you know. But it was almost solidifying that the date had gone well and that I was worthwhile. Because if I wasn't any good, I don't think Lily would have had me come along with her to meet her friends so soon.
This is true. And, I mean, I wasn't planning to stay at this party for very long either, but it ended up being all right, and we stayed for a fair while too. Yeah.
And then about 3 or 4 days later, Lily's on the farm.
Came for a visit.
I very rarely invite people to the farm. Very rarely.
I feel like I more so was like, I'm coming, you don't have a choice.
Yeah, but I was already smitten, so of course I said, yeah, come on. Yeah, and I think, now Lily lives on the farm and has done for a bit over 3 years now. And, do you want to maybe briefly touch on that? Like, it's probably it's a big difference to go from city living to living on a dairy farm.
100%. I did grow up in a sort of rural regional area for till I was like 5 or 6, I think. So I kind of had like a little bit of an experience, but not like actually living on a farm. So moving up here, I mean, I moved up very quick, and then we know that it was quick. Like not even 6 months in, I moved up. But also, Andy obviously.
You call me whatever you like. Just don't call me late for dinner. That's what Dad says. Hefty man.
He obviously works 7 days a week, and every morning and night he's milking. So it was kind of difficult to be able to see each other when we were living so far away. And I did try and get a job closer towards him, but even then it was hard not being able to sort of just be together whenever we wanted. So we decided that I would come live here. Well, I think I kind of just brought my stuff, and I was like,
I woke up one morning and the house was just filled with all these bags, and I thought, what's going on? She's like, I'm here now. Oh, God! Oh, God! But it's all worked out marvellously.
It is.
And I guess I was actually speaking to a mate about this the other day, and I said one of the best ideas, luckily we live in a modern society where this is more normal now. I think my grandma would disagree with what I'm about to say, but it's too bad. Can't agree on everything. But I think it's remarkably important if you're in a new relationship these days, before committing to marriage or whatever, is to live together for a time, to understand one another, we know each other so well because we live in the same house, and we have done for years, and that living so close together really helps you understand the person, their ins and outs, and what they like and don't like, and what they don't like and what they don't like, and, but I think it's really important.
Yeah, I mean, we had you told me to keep it a secret when I met your grandma for the first time that we were living together.
Grandma's very...
She knows now, and obviously we're engaged now, but she knew fairly soon after, and she didn't tell me to my face anyway that she had an issue, so I'm not sure whether... I
don't think so, really. I'm the gold hair boy, I'm a good little boy in her eyes. Grandma.
Yeah.
So what are we on to now? We're into the farm, our lives now. Right. So TikTok. TikTok has changed my life completely. Before, of course, Lily knew me before I started my TikTok. Thank God for her, because she got to understand who I was. I feel like sometimes now I meet people and they have a preconceived idea of who I am, what I think, what I'm about. And
I mean, you did start the TikTok fairly early on in the relationship too, though.
About half a year in.
Yeah, so I did obviously know you before, but it's kind of just like our life. It's just normal for us to have you do that.
So TikTok has been just phenomenally life-changing and a great hobby at times, and a massive weight on my mental health other times, because I guess I'm the kind of person who's all in on something, and I get very emotionally attached to things. I'm very much a perfectionist. And when things don't go the way I may like them to go, I get a bit annoyed. And when things go the way they're meant to go, I'm very happy.
It definitely can. I notice it affect you a lot too. So, I'd often bring you back to earth, and it's not the be all and end all.
It's a hobby.
It's it
has to remain that way for me. I hate the idea of... this is a part of one of our episodes coming up about social media. Yeah. So I won't touch on it too much, but I absolutely hate the monetization of social media when it comes to... I think small business and private enterprise and stuff like that exempt. I mean, individuals making money out of you... I don't like influencers. I don't like it. I really don't like it. I think it's very dark. I just don't like it.
I think it's okay if they're promoting someone's business, because people, actors get paid to do that. It's same sort of thing, but the battles, things like that.
Yeah, TikTok battles. Yeah. If you're not on TikTok, look up TikTok battles and there'll be plenty of information. It's basically people yelling at screens going, snipe, snipe, come on team, come on fam, come on cartel. And it's just and they're gifting them money, real money.
for
Real world
not
money.
really doing anything, you know? You're not like helping a business or something because of it.
Oh, I could go on about it all day, and we will. I mean,
Yeah.
not get sidelined right now, but you know, I pair that TikTok with I'm a dairy farmer. I mean, we're doing this. I got to milk cows soon, you know, and I think I've got a very healthy. Actually, maybe I don't have a very healthy work and work balance with life balance. You know, because I do work a lot.
And it's hard because, like, you don't really get a choice a lot of the time. It all also depends on the weather. Like, today, if you really wanted to, you could have been out spraying, whereas tomorrow it might be rainy and you'll be like, why didn't I do that yesterday? And it really affects your mental health, and also you feel like...
Oh, you're behind.
Yeah.
And you feel like you missed an opportunity and stuff like that happens. That's just spraying. I mean, but that happens all the time.
Not just spraying, like with everything.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, they're very weather dependent, but also you're stuck with it. The dairy farming, it's twice a day. But anyway, nursing. So, how are you finding nursing now? How far into it are you now? When did you graduate?
I graduated at the end of June.
Last year, 2023.
Yep. And I worked at GP for a few months. I actually didn't apply for a grad year, so I just went straight to GP land, and then applied through the healthcare system, like the hospitals, and came back to where I was hoping to come back, which was emergency. Got offered originally just a temporary contract, which I was like, it's fine, I'm just going to take it and whatever happens, happens. And the day before I started, they told me that they've flicked me to permanent. So I was very, very fortunate, and I am absolutely loving it. There's so much that I want to do with it, and I've got a lot of learning still to do. Like, every day I'm learning something new, and I'm, loving it.
It's very much helped Lily come out of her shell, I think, too. When I met Lily, I think you are still a fairly introverted person.
Yeah.
But
it's called social anxiety.
Yeah. But she, you know, we're yin and yang there, but she, you know, when we first met, she was a lot quieter. And we live on a farm, by the way. You'll hear dogs barking and bikes going past. It might not pick up on the mic.
It might not, yeah.
But anyway, we digress once more. We're very good at that. But I think Lily has very much come out of her shell since we first met to now. And the nursing has definitely has really brought that along. I think also just being in a relationship where she knows she's safe has probably helped her a lot too.
And I think too, like with you, when we go places, I know that I'm not just going to be kind of like sitting there quietly, because I can have you by my side that's talking to everyone, and I get involved in the conversations that way. Whereas usually if I just go to something, I kind of just wait for...
Lily goes, she's a bit like Pluto. It's a bit like Pluto in our solar system. She's like, way over in the corner, and she comes close sometimes. Then she's back out there in the whoop again. You know, she what do you say? Social anxiety.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it is. It just is what it is. Like, depends what crowd I'm in, but if I'm in a crowd that I don't know, it's kind of like the worry about how they're going to think of you. That's more so what it is than...
I used to think like that.
Yeah.
Until social media. Genuinely. I just don't... I mean, at that point, before social media, I still had an element of me that didn't care what people thought, but I still did. And I still do, but in a different... So TikTok has very much helped me come out of my shell. I say TikTok, I just mean social media in general. I actually am trying to get away from TikTok. I bloody hate it. But but anyway... Before I met Lily, there was an element of me which, didn't care what other people thought. But a lot of me still did care what other people thought about me. And I think it's a very human thing. You always just, you want to be the best version of yourself in front of others, don't you? You don't want to be out there being a slob. But now, these days, through the social media presence, I go places now and I just expect people will have an idea of what I'm like already.
This is true. And most of them do.
I'll go places and people go, I say, hey, Anne, this is how I know when someone knows me from my life before social media and when they know me from social media. If someone from behind me goes, oh, hey, Andy, I know that's social media. Because before social media, I was Andrew. I was always known as Andrew. I was never Andy, ever. I've never been Andy, but now I'm most commonly called and known by Andy.
And that's
Andy.
why I kept stuffing up in this podcast saying Andrew, because that's what I call you.
And I don't mind. Like, it's better than Drew. Oh, I get called Ando sometimes. That's a bit different. But anyway, this entire experience with social media, I can go to places and I'll take Lily with me and I talk to so many people. And I could be there all day just chewing someone's ear off, just asking them all about themselves and learning a lot. And I think my social media presence has given me the ability to be confident in myself because it's kind of a reassurance that you got to be yourself out there in the big wide open in front of so many people and you were accepted for it. And that's probably a message to everybody. The best advice I ever got in my life was from my mum. She said, be yourself. And I am unapologetically myself these days. And that's great advice for you right now listening. Be yourself. Because if people don't like you and you are a good-hearted person, you're not being malicious or mean or evil or bad-spirited, and you're just being yourself and expressing your true character and who you are, if someone doesn't like you, they're the person with the problem, not you. So, and that's why I guess I go out there in the public and if I just accept the fact that some people will not like me and that's not my problem.
This is true. Yeah, I've definitely started, learning that, especially through your TikTok and everything, meeting, all of your beautiful fans that come up and say hi to us, especially when we're together. People often say that they see me sometimes before they see you now, but they don't come up to me as much as they do just to you. We had that a few times. Yeah, which is fine.
It's coming.
Everyone can come up to me. I do not care about that. It doesn't bother me. Come up and chat. Happy to. But yeah, I feel a bit more confident now. So
now you've got a pretty good idea of who we are, how we think, how we speak, and all that. So we're going to have just last thing we're going to do for this podcast is introduce one of the segments which we want to have in all of our podcasts. And that is what really grinds my gears. And Lily, do you know what really grinds my gears?
I do, and you say it every single time that we are in the car.
People, when I'm driving to town and I see, hear that? Hoons, they're out and about. When I drive into town and I see skid marks on the roads, I'm getting passionate. When I see skid marks on the road from tyres, I think, what feral behaviour. Defacing my roads at my rates and my tax dollars pay for. These ugly, cheap tyre marks everywhere. It is really ugly. It's ugly and it's feral. And it's not saying that, people they go, oh, I did those skid marks. Like, wow, fantastic. Is that your contribution to society? You're leaving a mark on the road. It's just, why are you wasting your money on the tyres? Why are you disturbing my eyes with this ungodly vision of your not even symmetrical tyre marks on the road? If they were in line, perfect lines, part of me would be like, oh, look, the symmetry. This is actually pleasant for my perfectionist mind. But when I see these ugly skid marks everywhere, it's just, why? I just don't get it. And it does grind my gears. What grinds your gears?
This is a mutual, I think, grinds my gears. I genuinely hate. There's two components to this. One, when someone pulls out in front of you and then doesn't go the speed limit or goes way below the speed limit, and you're like, why? Why did you decide to pull in front of me, especially when they pull in front of you and there is no one behind you? So they could have waited an extra 20 seconds and been behind you.
Not even 20 seconds.
Exactly.
They could have waited literally another 5 seconds.
Exactly. So when you're driving along, especially when you're driving like in town and the speed limit is not very fast in town and they're going like 35 in a 50 zone and you're trying to get to an appointment or something like that, it's just so frustrating because all you want to do is just like toot them or be like, hurry up, and it gives me road rage. and I get very bad road rage. Not to other people, just inside to myself.
Lily just like...
I don't like go out and, have a punch up with someone in the street, but I do.
She goes rogue. She just overtakes them in the car, goes in front of them. She makes them stop. She gets out of the car with a crowbar. Let's have it on! She's in there going, whoa! She's not like that. She just gets cranky, cantankerous in the vehicle.
Yeah.
But
that's what grinds my gears. A lot.
It's fair enough. It does annoy me too. I know the tyre marks don't annoy you so much.
No, I'm just like... And especially because sometimes the tyre marks are genuinely because someone's had to brake very harshly because of an accident.
Oh, well, those ones don't annoy me so much.
But you can't tell the difference.
You can, because those are usually straight. It's usually big truck ones.
But sometimes they're not, because, if you're having to brake really fast, your tyres kind of,
you know when it's a burnout when they're in circles.
Yeah, when they're in circles, yes. But
and they're squiggly like a snake. It's like that's not someone braking unless they like.
Well, it could have been an old lady braking. Maybe they did that.
Let's bring age into this, shall we? Defending the old ladies once again. Classic nurse.
Well, someone's got to do it.
But you're getting upset with the old ladies because they're bloody they're going out in front of you. And they're going slow, listening to like Roy Orbison. Oh, pretty woman. With their sunnies on and their scarf. Walking down the street. And they're like, this is a lovely day out. Meanwhile, Lily's behind them. Burn up!
Go the speed limit! That's genuinely me behind the car.
Look, when someone pulls out in front of me, they don't give way, basically. I am known to get a bit closer to them than I would usually get close to people. Let them know, my big youth, that I don't approve of their behaviour. But he gets a bit too close. I don't.
Yes, you do.
I don't.
You do.
I do not break the law. I do everything legally. I do not. I'm a very good boy. I'm a very good driver. I don't do anything wrong. I haven't had a ticket in like 4 years.
I've had no tickets. And you've had how many?
Yeah, but I'm 4 years ahead of you in age, so you just wait.
Well, we'll wait the 4 years and then we'll see. But how many tickets have you had since
in my life?
24? Since being 24?
Since being 24, none.
No, as in before, up to 24.
Oh, well, 3.
Yeah, so that's...
Hey, I used to drive...
He was a hoon.
I had an AU Falcon. Oh, dear. Well, I guess that's for this episode. We have so many things we want to speak about and so many people we want to interview. Thank you for bearing with us through the very first episode. It's a new journey for us, and if you're listening right now, that means you are you're a core supporter. You're someone who
you've made it through.
But you made it through this far. But you're somebody.
Your ears are probably hurting from Andrew's yelling, but that's okay.
But you're someone who supports us a lot, and we actually really appreciate that. Because if you're listening right now, you're in probably a fairly small group of people, which we hope to expand upon. But we really appreciate it. And, thank you for coming along on this journey with us.
Thanks for listening to our rambles and rants. If you have any topics that you want us to talk about or touch on, make sure to let us know. We've got an Instagram and a TikTok, so you'll be able to see names?
Them. It's all Full Seldom Differ Potty or podcast. And
you should just be able to search Full Seldom Differ Podcast and it should pop right up. You can just do the normal spaces. They're slightly different on each...
platform,
that's what I'm looking for, because some of them only allow shorter names, some of them allow longer.
Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, YouTube, or in all
We've got them all.
Yeah, beautiful. All right.
Thank you very much. We'll see you next time.
Look after yourselves. Be good. Bye-bye.
Or be good at it.
Oh.